Right on target, Mr. Scott. There's his Emmy. His Oscar.
What if he's going to accept this one?
Yeah, he'll accept it. He's got to take it. Okay. He finally accepted the Oscar award.
Mr. Finley very happy about that. He's quite a baseball fan. We were speaking with Jimmy Pearsall. He said that he sees him out here quite often at some of these Oakland ball games.
John Blue Moon Odom, who's really made some comebacks. He had an elbow operation 2 years ago. He had bone chips out of his elbow. And trying to stop a robbery last year, he was shot twice. And here he is enjoying a big year, 15 wins and 6 losses. Born, lives in Macon, Georgia. Here's the Tiger lineup. Leading off at shortstop will be Dick McAuliffe. Al Kalines in right field, batting number 2. Duke Sims will be catching and hitting third. Duke Sims, I hope he has some left-handed power today. He was red hot at the end of the season. Norm Cash is the first baseman, hitting cleanup. Willie Horton in left field, batting 5th. Jim Northrup in center field, batting 6th. Tony Taylor at second base, hitting 7th. Aurelio Rodriguez has dropped to the number 8 spot, batting 8th. And Woodie Fryman will be pitching today for Detroit. You know, it's something, Tony, for a pitcher to come back from an elbow operation. He had those bone chips removed in his pitching elbow in December of 1970 at the Mayo Clinic, and he's made it all the way back.
He's changed his style of pitching since he came up with the A's. Of course, then they were in Kansas City. He was a very hard thrower. In fact, I was the first hitter he ever threw a ball to in the big leagues in Kansas City. He has an assortment now of different pitches. A sinker ball, throws a real, what they call a slop curve that he likes to use a lot. A good slider. He'll come from the side on right-handed hitters on occasion.
Dick McAuliffe leading off. He went hitless in 5 times yesterday, and he sends a slow bounder out to second. The throw's in time. Dick Green throws him out. And McAuliffe, first ball hitting, 1 down. Al Kalines, nearly the hero yesterday, but 1 out on the 11th. He hit a home run to left field. Then it was his throw that led to the A's win, but it was a good throw right over the bag. One of those tough plays where the ball and the man arrive at third base at the same time. First pitch to Kalines, ball 1. Al Kalines ended the season with an 11-game batting streak, hit safely yesterday, and has now hit 4 homers in his last 5 games. They're playing him to pull to left. Ball 2. Kalines wound up the year batting .313 with 10 homers and 32 runs batted in.
He really hit a good pitch yesterday off Raleigh fingers. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He threw a perfect pitch, low and outside, a breaking ball, and he hit it for a home run.
2 balls, 1 strike. Duke Sims on deck. Defensively, the A's have Rudi in left, Jackson in center, Alou in right. That's their outfield. Ground ball to shortstop Campaneris. 2 down. Oh, Blue Moon must have that sinker ball working. They're banging the ball in the ground. Duke Sims, yesterday, had a double and a triple in 5 times. Another fellow that finished the season with a sizzling bat. He wound up with the Tigers hitting .316. 4 homers, 19 runs batted in. A pull hitter being played well around toward right.
Sims, a pretty good low fastball hitter, and of course Odom will be throwing into Sims' strength.
Change up, slow ball, 1-0 to him.
I want to notice the follow-through and the amount of physical effort that Blue Moon Odom puts into every one of his pitches. He falls off toward that first base side.
Fastball for for a strike.
They say Odom gets in trouble when he tries to throw that slop curve, the slow curveball, too often. And the hitters start waiting for it.
2 out for the Tigers, nobody on. There's a breaking pitch just outside, 2-1. This is the 9th pro season, not for Norm Cash that you see on deck, but for Blue Moon Odom. Signed a large bonus contract in 1964. Charlie Finley actually signed him. The owner made a special trip to his home in Macon, Georgia. Foul ball back, and drove up along with a lot of money. A truck full of produce and dumped it in his lawn.
I guess he spent about a week living with Odom's family, cooking for them. Charlie prides himself on being an excellent cook.
2 balls, 2 strikes. When you own 3 sports teams, how do you get time to cook? 2-2 delivery. 3-2 to Duke Sims.
We're just looking out, and Dick Green, the second baseman for the A's, playing on the grass, and as Odom went into his delivery, Green actually moved about 4 steps to his left. He's obviously looking at the signs given by catcher Tennis, and he saw that breaking ball signals, and he moved to his left. You can't do it too soon or you tip off the pitch to the hitter.
Long smash to deep center. Jackson floating back, waiting, and snags it for the out. 3 up and 3 down. In the first inning, no score with the A's coming to bat. 17 at the end of 3 periods. Green Bay leading the Bears 17-10 at the end of 3 periods. In the 4th period, Minnesota 17, St. Louis 12. The Rams and the 49ers just starting in Los Angeles. Bert Campaneris walked once yesterday, scored a run, went hitless his other 4 times up. Ball 1. And as we said yesterday, the Tiger pitching staff has had it drilled into them, keep Campaneris off the bases if at all possible. Don't walk him. They walked him once yesterday and he scored. Ball 2, and Woodie Fryman drops quickly behind him.
Fryman bothered with an arthritic elbow, and he has had difficulty, they tell me, early in the ball game. He is pitching with some pain in that elbow, and he's got to get in the groove. Those mostly hard stuff.
3-0 to Bert Campaneris. Woodie Fryman won 4 games, lost 10 with the Phillies. With the Tigers, he won 10 and lost 3. They could not have won their division without him. 3 balls and no strikes to Campaneris. 3-1.
Fryman with a good slider. On deck batter, Matty Alou. Fryman has that fastball that will right away, tail away from these right-handed hitters.
3-1 pitch coming up. 3-2. We were talking to Duke Sims before the game about Fryman. I said, what's his best asset? He said he's a competitor. He really battles you on that mound. 3-2. Base hit by Campaneris. All right, now we'll keep our eyes on Campaneris. He led the American League with 52 stolen bases. 6 times he's captured the American League base stealing title. And here's another good little table setter, Matty Alou. Hit .314 with the Cardinals, .281 with Oakland. And you notice late in the year how clubs will go to the other league and pick up players to aid them in a pennant drive. This man really helped Oakland. They were short 1 good bat in the outfield to go with Rudi and Jackson. And Alou really fills a void in that batting order. He is a professional hitter. Alou hit .320 last 20 games with the A's.
Fryman does not have a good move to first base. He moves quickly to the plate, however.
There goes the runner. The strike, the throw. He's in there.
Left-handed pitcher. You see Alou bluffing, trying to hide the ball from the catcher. Sims got rid of the ball very quickly. A little bit of a high throw to Taylor covering the bag. Watch it from another angle. Cash holding him on. I can see Taylor waiting as long as possible to make the break. He just outran the ball.
Now the Tigers are prepared for a bunt. Rodriguez tightens up at third, and Cash is shortened up at first. The infield also, as shortened second, comes in. Bluff. Campaneris back.
Of course, a man like Campaneris has those infielders moving around at all times. McAuliffe trying to sneak up behind him, hold him close. He'll be out of position.
Ball to Alou. The outfield's very shallow, and playing him to the opposite field. You see Northrop over in left center. Look at how Willie Horton's crowding that left field line. 1-1 pitch. Strike two. He had ideas to bunt, but didn't. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Even with 2 strikes on Alou, those Detroit infielders don't move back too far. Rodriguez still playing about even with the bag at third. All that running around those infielders are doing because of Campaneris is taking just that fraction of a step or maybe 2 away from them, being able to chase down a ball hit behind them or between them.
The A's fans love it. He's positioned perfectly. Very important. The way you place those infielders and outfielders, and they really had Alou catalog. Alou flies to Horton in shallow left. This telecast, presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. Joe Rudi, the most solid hitter on the A's team, batting .305. 19 homers this season and 75 runs batted in.
The book on Rudi is to throw him a lot of change-ups and off-speed stuff, get him off stride, which Lolich did well yesterday, but Fryman doesn't have a really effective change of pace.
Campaneris keeps them occupied.
What other sport could a little man like Campaneris terrorize you as he's doing right now?
That's right. 5'10", weighs 160. The last day of the season, when he discovered that Nelson of the Texas Rangers had taken the lead in the American League base stealing, he asked to play, went in as a pinch runner, stole second, and then stole third, and picked up the 2 bases he needed to win this base stealing title. Drilled foul down the right field line. One strike to Joe Rudi. 1 out. Campaneris at second, no score in the last of the first inning. Rudi hits to all fields. And Fryman's ahead of him, 0-2.
Well, the one other man that I can think of in baseball, in the major leagues, who has as closed a stance as Rudi, and that's Tito Fuentes. He's way away from home plate with that back foot. Lolich tried to break balls inside on him yesterday, trying to get him to pull the ball on the ground.
And the sun is coming out for the first time today. It's been overcast all day here. So warm and muggy. just missed that outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Campaneris really has Tony Taylor bouncing around at his second base position, and Rudi, of course, hits in that direction very well.
One-two pitch, 2-2. There goes Campaneris. They're too late on him. He got a big jump that time. Big jump for him. He stole on the pitcher.
Watch it again. There he goes. Sims throwing over the head of the right-handed hitting Rudi. What great speed he has, and sometimes, even when he doesn't get a good jump, Curt, he'll still outrun the ball to the bag.
Oh, he's stolen second, he's stolen third, he's on third with 1 out. 3-2 to Joe Rudi. Infield now draws in. Playing in. Right on the edge of the grass. Rudi can hit that fly ball to the outfield for you, too. And it's a base hit to left. In the score. Campaneris, the A's lead 1-0.
There's a case right there where with that infield playing it instead of back, because of Campaneris stealing the 2 bases, a ball got through. Rodriguez, the way he moves to his left, probably would have had a chance at getting the ball and saving the run, had they been back.
And that's why the Tigers say you have to keep Campaneris off the base. Reggie Jackson had 2 hits and 5 times up yesterday, both singles to the box. .265 hitter for the year, 25 homers, 75 RBIs. Strike to him as Fryman fed him the sidearm stuff. Joe Rudi on first, 1 out. The A's leading 1-0. Sidearm curve, 0-2. The on-deck batter is a right-hander, Sal Bando. A 1-2 count to Reggie Jackson. You think of Jackson, you think about his power. He's hit 2 of the longest home runs I've ever seen. One in Bloomington, Minnesota, the other at the All-Star game in Detroit year before last. This is a foul ball headed toward the box seats and out of play. But Reggie Jackson is also an excellent base runner, has a good throwing arm in the outfield. He can run and he can field. He can beat you different ways beside his bat.
I think a lot of people, and I think Jackson also was disappointed in his year this year. What did he have, 25, 26 home runs? He has the potential to be a 40 home run hitter driving 125 runs a year. It's as much ability as almost anyone in baseball.
He lives now in Tempe, Arizona. He went to school at Arizona State, was born in Wyncote, Pennsylvania. Goes for the bad pitch and strikes out. 2 down. First strikeout for Fryman. Sal Bando hitting .236. Bando was kidding me yesterday about having an Italian breakfast for good luck, but he told me today he did. He had eggs with pepperoni. Two out. Joe Rudi at first, 1-0 Oakland. Last of the first inning. Fouled away. Bando drives in runs. With a low average of 236, he still knocked in 78 runs.
Yesterday, Lolich tried to keep the ball inside on Bando until men got on base and in scoring position. Then he went away.
Strike 2 to Sal Bando. Gets it right off the fist foul. No balls and 2 strikes. Willie Horton in left, Jim Northrup in center, Al Kaline in right, Rodriguez at third, McAuliffe the shortstop, Taylor at second, Cash at first, Fryman pitching, Sims catching, Eddie Brinkman out. We understand he's having some slip disc problems in his back, and his looked like a pulled muscle yesterday when he led off with a double. Could have had a triple on it, but just couldn't make it. Looked like he had a pulled muscle in his leg, but his sciatic nerve's been affected.
Tells me he's lost about 25% of the mobility in his left leg. There's a numbness, a tingling feeling, which sounds like some kind of pressure on a sciatic nerve caused by a disc problem, similar to what Dick Green had, Bill Melton had this year.
I can feel for him. Foul back. 0-2.
Fryman's got a good fastball. He's been throwing the ball almost by Bando inside and high. Bando's late swinging, but he keeps fouling them off, hanging in there.
Woodie Fryman lives in Ewing, Kentucky. Born in Fleming County, Kentucky. That one's fouled again. He owns and operates a farm there. He's a farm boy. He raises tobacco, corn, and black Angus cattle. He didn't turn professional until he was 25 years old. He's 32 now. One ball, 2 strikes.
The A's are really making Fryman work this inning. But that's not very good, I'm sure, for that arthritic elbow. He'd like to throw as few pitches as possible.
A 1-2 pitch. He's got him. 2 strikeouts at him. They've been having these 3-game series, you know, in the first 3 years of the playoffs, but the National League's not going to do that for sure this year. It'll be Gary Nolan against Nelson Bryles tomorrow, a pair of right-handers, and the Reds will be in their home park for at least the next 2 days. They'll not go back to Pittsburgh. The Reds really needed that one today, Tony.
What an acquisition that was by Bob Hausum to get Tommy Hall from Minnesota, who got the win today.
Ball 1 to Norm Cash. Leading off in the second. Cash had a homer yesterday in 3 times. Odom, his fastball up again, 2-0. Cash had gone since August 13th without hitting a homer until he slammed one yesterday. Wound up the year hitting .259 with 22 homers, 61 RBIs. Sends a ground ball to Epstein at first, flips to Odom covering. 1 away. These A's pitchers are multi-talented. Jim Hunter, Kenny Holtzman, John Odom, Vida Blue can all run. They can hit. They can pitch. They're all-around athletes who aid themselves another way besides just throwing the ball. All right, we'd like to welcome those fans that have been watching the San Diego-Baltimore football game. The final score, San Diego won it 23-20. And you're here now in the top of the second inning in the American League playoff with a score: Oakland 1, Detroit 0. The Tigers have 1 out, nobody on, and the batter is Willie Horton. So welcome. Ball 1 to Willie Horton. See, the Colts are off to their roughest start in years. They've now lost 3 games. The Jets have lost twice. New England has lost twice, and the Miami Dolphins have already a big lead in their division by beating the Jets today, 2-0. On deck is Ron Northrup. The Dolphins are off to what you might call an accelerated start.
They've beat some pretty good teams, too, haven't they?
Kansas City, the Vikings, and the Jets all on the road. 1 out, nobody on. Willie Horton wound up hitting .231 for the Tigers. Ground ball to short. Campaneris scoops, fires, and he's got him, and they're 2 down.
Curt, a while ago you were speaking of the versatility of some of the members of this A's pitching staff. Well, Odom yesterday went in the pinch run. He went on to steal second base on his own, or started to. Epstein missed a bunt sign and dunked a little ball in the short left field that started that rally going to win the ball game.
Jim Northrup hit .261, 8 homers, 42 runs batted in. 2 down. Tigers have been hitting the ball on the ground so far. That's that overhand curve that he likes. That makes him very effective against left-handed batters. When a right-hander comes in sidearm, that left-hander gets a better look at the ball. It's a flat curve, too. That's a changeup that's high. But that overhand curveball from a right-hander to a left-handed hitter is much more effective, and Odom has it. But the ball player's call coming in over the top. There it is. Grounded to deep short. Campaneris throws. No. Northrup's on with an infield hit. He's the first Tiger base runner.
Campy playing about up the middle for Northrup. Watch him get this throw off quickly with a lot on it. Too late, but he made a great effort trying to get Northrup.
Tony Taylor, who's been platoon this year at second base. 303 hitter with 1 homer, 20 RBIs. 36 years old. Born in Cuba, lives now in Eden, Pennsylvania. His 15th year in the majors, knows how to play the game. Very smart ball player. Strike to him.
Odom, generally speaking, will do most of the time, or try to do what he did on that last pitch. He shoots for that outside corner and low most of the time. Tries to throw that sinker out there, get the ground ball.
1 ball, 1 strike to Tony Taylor. The Oakland A's are leading the Tigers 1-0. We're in the top of the second inning. 2 down for the Tigers. They have Northrup at first.
Pitching pattern will be outside, outside. As soon as he sees the right-handed hitters leaning over, going for it, he'll try and brush them back inside.
Runner going. The throw. Right into the tag goes Northrup. He's out. Perfect throw by catcher Gene Tennis. Dick Green had the ball waiting for him.
Here goes Northrup. Taylor tried to protect him, but it was almost a pitch out. Dick Green making an exceptional play. A play that was pretty courageous. He could have gotten injured hanging in there to dig that ball out with a hard sliding Northrup, but they got him.
No, it's no runs a hit and nobody left for the Tigers in the second. And at the end of an inning and a half, Oakland 1, Detroit 0. 26 homers, 70 runs batted in. Ball 1, and he hit over 300 against left-handers. A final. It's going up there in the Northlands. The Minnesota Vikings upset today by the St. Louis Cardinals 19-17. That's their 3rd loss. On deck, Gene Tennis. Bears have tied Green Bay 17-all in the 4th quarter. 3 balls and no strikes to Epstein. Epstein had 2 walks and 2 singles yesterday and 5 times. He doesn't try and hit home runs with a left-hander going, just tries to meet the ball. 3-1.
Yesterday's playoff games, both National and American League, the left-handers against left-handed pitchers were the hitting star. Oliver and Stargell for the Pirates. Epstein here for Oakland, on base 4 times. Jackson on 3 times.
First walk by Woodie Fryman. Woodie Fryman is experiencing something new for him, pitching for a winning ball club. In his 6th season in the majors, prior to this year, he was with a first division team only once. That was in his first year in 1966 with the Pirates, finishing 3rd. Pirates then traded him over to the Phillies.
Tennis peering very intently down to third base coach Irv Noren. I don't know if Dick Williams is going to try and bunt early. There's Noren. Try and move Epstein in the scoring position and then pinch hit for Green, as he's done so often this year with his second baseman.
Runner on first, nobody out, 1-0, Oakland ahead. Fastball's over for a strike. Gene Tennis took the first coaching spot over. Dave Duncan started the season as a regular catcher, and Tennis won the job at the end of the year. 5 homers, 32 RBIs with a .225 batting average. One ball, 1 strike. Epstein at first. Nobody out. Off-speed curveball. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tennis. Two and two. He's throwing a lot of pitches here in these early innings.
Well, early in the ball game, he has trouble with his control because of the arthritic elbow, he tells us, and late in the ball game, he starts suffering a little bit more pain in that elbow. Throwing all the pitches, as you mentioned, it could come even sooner with that pain.
He blew that one by him. Dick Green looked to the dugout, expecting to be lifted for a pinch hitter, but they're going to let him bat. Some games late in the year, the manager of the A's, Dick Williams, used 4 second basemen in the game, and every time a second baseman would come up, he would pinch hit for him and put a new second baseman in the field. But yesterday, he went with Kubek a couple of times, and he's going with Green the first time up today. 1 out. Woodie Fryman has struck out 3. Green's made quite a comeback. He had a spinal disc operation this spring. Ball 1. Green, before the back operation, I don't know how he's swinging now. On a pitch high out over the plate, could really drive it into deep right center. That's where his power was. That's a scared on deck circle when the second basemen are there, aren't they? Always give a sort of a pleading look over to the dugout. Foul back. Yes, he has been durable. A little pop out in the shallow right. K-line coming hard. He's there. He let up after he broke with a good start. 1 away. There is a superior defensive right fielder. He started out as a left fielder. Then they moved him to center. Played center, I remember, as a kid a year or two. Then they finally installed him permanently in right field, where he's been ever since. Mike Epstein walked his first time. He's been on base 5 times and 6 up in this series. I asked him, Tony, today, I said, would you be glad to get to Tiger Stadium? Oh, he said, I like to hit in that ballpark. I've never seen a left-hander with power who didn't. Strike to Epstein.
You'll also have that right-handed pitcher, Joe Coleman, going against him, which I'm sure he's going to like after Lolich. And now Fryman.
Fouls it back. He's at home in this area. He played football at the University of California here at Berkeley for 3 years. First string fullback on the Cal football team, baseball player. And he played on the United States Olympic baseball team in '64. He signed a bonus contract with the Orioles. Ball one. He's never lacked for confidence.
Fryman now beginning to shake that left arm of his and try and stretch that shoulder. I don't know, Curt, if he's beginning to feel more pain in that arthritic elbow. He's thrown a lot of pitches.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Epstein in the minor leagues told the Orioles either trade him or play him in the majors. They accommodated him and traded him to the Senators. Who in turn traded him over here to the Oakland A's. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2. That's Gene Tennis, the A's catcher. He's scheduled up behind Epstein. 1-0 Oakland. Last of the 4th inning. Out of there. Fastball. Well, when this Fryman lets it go, he can bring it. 5 strikeouts for Woodie Fryman. He's walked 1, and Gene Tennis up struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Fryman pitched the division clinching game last Tuesday night in Detroit against the Red Sox, winning 3-1. He didn't finish. He went 7 2/3 innings. Chuck Selback saved the win. Fryman has been imposing in his last 8 starts, winning 7 and losing just 1. That pitch is just inside. Ball 2 to Gene Tennis. Two balls and no strikes to Tennis. 2 down, bases empty. Curve over, 2-1. We haven't had a lot of excitement in this game so far. But things gathered momentum yesterday in the late innings. 3-1. And we ended up with a thriller in the opening game of the American League playoffs.
It was Tennis who, with a head-first slide, blocking the view of Rodriguez, scored the winning run in the 11th inning, and K-line was giving the air.
3-1 pitch. Changed up, 3-2.
What's interesting about that play in the 11th inning, you know, it's difficult for an official score to give an error to either K-line or Rodriguez, and I know some writers, Dick Young for one, has been an advocate of what they call a team error concept. Whereas neither player would have been given the error, the team would have.
Smacks it into left field. Willie Horton comes on to pick it off. 3 up and 3 down for the A's in the last of the 4th. At the end of 4 innings, it is the Oakland A's 1 and the Detroit Tigers nothing. You hear a lot of big figures thrown around on television. You see that little window there in the screen? That costs around $1,600. And it's installed to brighten the game for you televiewers. 3/4 of an inch thickness of quartz and glass replaces an old plexiglass square we used to use. And that's also an improved $10,000 lens that takes that shot through the new quartz and glass window. And it brightens everything up for you, and we hope you're enjoying the game. And here's a bright guy now moving in for the 5th inning, Mr. Tony Kubek.
Jimmy Northrup, Tony Taylor, and Aurelio Rodriguez. Fouled off by Northrup.
Tony, let me just slip this score in. There's a halftime score from Los Angeles. The Rams leading the 49ers 14-7 at halftime. The only other pro football game going.
It's Oakland 1, Detroit nothing in the top of the 5th. John Odom on the mound for the A's. Check swing, fouled off, strike 2. Taylor on deck for the Tigers. Detroit scored just 2 runs in 15 innings in this series. Both of those, of course, on home runs, one by Cash, one by K-Line. No balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Jimmy Northrup leading off for the Tigers in the 5th. Breaking ball in the dirt, 1-2. Northrup got an infield single in the 2nd when Campaneris ranged far to his right but couldn't throw him out at first base. One and 2 pitch. Change up, breaking ball gets Northrup. Jimmy going after a bad pitch in the dirt. Strikeout number 1 for Odom. And it brings up Tony Taylor, playing second base in today's ball game, as McAuliffe moved over to shortstop. Eddie Brinkman with a problem that may be serious, injury to a disc. Taylor grounded out in the 3rd. The A's won, the Tigers nothing. A little low for a ball. Playing Taylor a shade toward right field. Grounded up the middle. Dick Green playing up the middle, throws him out at first base for out number 2. To bring up Aurelio Rodriguez.
Those Tiger bats were speaking with real authority the last 2 weeks of the American League season, but they've been quiet here in the American League playoffs.
And surprisingly, the 2 runs that they've gotten on home runs by Cash and K-Line. Cash hit a low inside fastball that probably was a ball, a good pitch off Hunter. K-Line hit a good breaking ball low and on the outside corner with 2 strikes off Raleigh Fingers. So the A's pitching staff so far has been very sharp. 2 down, Rodriguez at bat. Change up, misses outside. You know, I think, Curt, what would be of a lot of help to Rodriguez at bat is if he tried to bunt or fake a bunt a little more often. The 3rd baseman played deeply on him. Bando is right now, and a lot of those ground balls that might go by him are caught.
They've also been trying to get him to hit the right field more. Go the opposite way. He has power when he hits the ball, but he gets in a rut sometimes with his swing, trying to pull everything.
1 ball, 1 strike with 2 down. A's won, they got a run in the 1st inning. Detroit nothing. One ball, 2 strikes. Fryman on deck for the Tigers. It's Bando at 3rd for the A's. Campaneris at short. Green at 2nd. Epstein at first base. Tennis the catcher. Rudi in left. Jackson in center. Alou in right. Change up from the side, grounded weakly to Bando at 3rd, over to Epstein for the 3rd out. No runs, no hits, no error, nobody left on for the Tigers. So in the middle of the 5th inning of play here in Oakland, it's Oakland 1, Detroit nothing.
Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time here on NBC. And Dick Williams now starts his move with his second baseman. He's pinch hitting for Dick Green to lead off the last of the 5th in the number 8 spot. George Hendrick will bat for him. And in the top of the 6th inning, we'll have a new defensive second baseman for the Oakland A's. Tony?
George Hendrick, John Odom, and then Bert Campaneris, the leadoff batter, to face Woodie Fryman here in the last of the 5th. Hendrick for the season, 4 home runs, 15 RBIs with a 182 batting average. He pinch hit yesterday and grounded out. 1-0 Oakland. Fryman with a slider gets Hendrick. Another breaking ball, too low, 1-1. Odom on deck for the A's. Two and one inside. Hendrick is a man who is pretty much sought after in many other major league clubs, especially in the American League. He has tremendous ability, good speed, power. 2-2 as Hendrick fouls it off.
One of his problems, they never let him get settled. They send him back to the minors. They bring him up again. He's like he's on a roller coaster all the time.
He's a very relaxed hitter up at the plate. That quick bat. Two balls, two strikes with no outs in the last of the fifth.
You know, Tony, this fella, Hendrick, that his manager Dick Williams is watching, never participated in high school sports either.
Had a chance to see him play a couple of times this year, and he's fun to watch. Runs well in the outfield. Long, easy stride. Fryman tries a changeup, goes to 3-2 on Hendrick. The A's with 1 run on 4 hits and no errors. The Tigers, no runs, 3 hits and no errors. George Hendrick pinch hitting for Dick Green here in the 5th. Breaking ball, line for a base hit. Right by the lunging Aurelio Rodriguez. So the A's have the first man on in the 5th inning. Brings up John Odom, who's a pretty good hitter and a good bunter.
This is the 4th time in 5 innings that the A's had their leadoff man get on.
Chances are Dick Williams will have Odom trying to bunt Hendrick into second base, but as good a hitter as Odom is, he's liable to switch and try and get him to hit the ball by the charging Rodriguez. There's Williams. Or by the charging Norm Cash. Try and find a hole in that infield. Hendrick on first, last of the 5th. No outs. Odom the hitter. He's going to bunt. He takes it. 1-0. Rodriguez and Cash both know they cannot charge too quickly with Odom up there, especially now that he's ahead of the pitcher Fryman. 1 ball, no strikes. Williams may change, try and get Odom to slap it by him. Fryman has already picked Alou off first base. Odom fouls it. The count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Herb Norn giving a lot of signals from his third base coaching box. Wouldn't surprise me right here, Curt, if Dick Williams didn't change and let Odom slash away. 1-1 the count with no outs. Hendrick on first base. He's going to bunt again. Sims out fast. No chance for a play at second, but he does get Odom at first base. Hendrick with good speed getting down into second. The John Odom does the job.
Here it is now. Sims throws. That's Taylor covering at first, the second baseman. The A's have a runner on second, 1 out, and Campaneris up. And he's had 2 line drive base hits so far.
Scored the only A's run in the first inning when he singled up the middle, then stole second, stole third. The infield was drawn in. Rudi slashed one by between short and third to score the run. 1 out in the last of the 5th with Hendrick down on second base. Fryman pitching to Campaneris. He fouls it off for a strike. Rodriguez at third, playing about even with a bag. Got to watch Hendrick, who may try and steal third base. Also keep his eye peeled for a possible bunt attempt by Campaneris. 1 strike pitch. Line drive base hit. Hendrick had a hole up to see what the ball was going to go through. The throw from K-line, and Irv Norton holds Hendrick up. Hendrick could not get a jump off second base, as he had to make sure the line drive base hit by Campaneris was over the head of Taylor, the second baseman.
And Norm Cash, a good throw by K-line, hit his cutoff man. Cash cut the ball off so Campaneris on a throw to the plate wouldn't get down to second. And
brings up Matty Lou. And now a lot of action. There's Chris Zachary, the right-hander, starting to warm up hurriedly for Detroit. Here comes the left-hander, Fred Sherman. So Woodie Fryman and the Tigers in trouble with one down. Hendrick on third, Campaneris on first, Matty Lou the hitter. Alou flied out in the first, fielder's choice in the third, and then was caught stealing as Fryman had him picked off. Good speed on the base pass and at the plate. The Tiger infield playing about halfway. Line drive, base hit. Hendrick will score. Campaneris is going to go to third base as K-line gets the ball into the infield. So Alou drives in run number 2 for the A's. Bring up Joe Rudi with one down. Campaneris on third, Alou on first base. Rudi, 2 for 2 in the ball game, single in the first to drive in a run, double in the third.
And these first 3 men in the A's batting order have now had 4-6 hits. They've been getting on base up on top.
George Hendricks started the inning off when he pinch hit for Green with a single to left field. Odom sacrificed him to second. Campaneris singled. Hendrick moving to third. Alou just drove in the run. So it's Oakland 2, Detroit nothing.
Here comes Martin out now, Tony. He's trying to stall here. I believe he wants to get this right-hander Zachary ready and get him in here to pitch to Rudi.
They haven't had too much time to loosen up as Sherman continues to throw along with Zachary. Duke Sims stalled around for a little while. Nestor Chylak, the home plate umpire, hurried it up. Now Martin out.
Those are all been line shots hit off Fryman in this inning. And there he is. He wants the right-hander, Chris Zachary.
So Billy Martin, the Tigers manager, has called for his right-hander, Chris Zachary. There's a break in the action here at Oakland Coliseum with a score. The Oakland A's 2, the Detroit Tigers nothing.
Released an official baseball all-star magazine covering all-star games from 1933 through this year. It contains biographies, statistics, filled with photographs of the great stars. The centerfold is a 5-foot square color poster of Willie Mays. In addition, there are 7 original color sketches by the famous sports artist Leroy Neiman. You'll find this baseball all-star magazine at most newsstands. Baseball's International All-Star Magazine. Chris Zachary, 1 win, 1 loss this year. This will be his 26th appearance during the regular season. In 25 appearances, he had only 1 start. Born in Knoxville, Tennessee, he's 28 years old. He has played for Houston, the Kansas City A's, and the St. Louis Cardinals. And he's into a ticklish situation against the A's best all-around hitter, Joe Rudi, with runners on first and third, 1 out, and the A's leading 2-0 in the last of the 5th inning.
Joe Rudi 2 for 2 in the ball game, and this move by Martin bringing in Zachary. Zachary may just pitch to one hitter, Rudi, as Martin continues to have Fred Sherman, the left-hander, warming up in the bullpen. So the A's have 1 run home in the last of the 5th. There's Campaneris at third base. Alou at first. 1 down. Zachary misses with a changeup off his breaking pitch. Tigers looking for the double play. Good speed on the base pass for the A's in Campaneris and Matty Alou. The Athletics have hit the ball hard this inning. Rudi after a bad pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Herb Norton, the coach at third base for Dix Williams A's. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. The A's have 1 run home in the 5th inning and are threatening right now against Chris Zachary, the relief pitcher. He misses outside again with a curve, 2-1. Reggie Jackson, the on-deck hitter for the A's. The Tigers outfield playing deep and about straight away for Joe Rudi. In the dirt. Campaneris is going to score. Alou will go into second base. So Zachary wild pitches a runner home to make it 3-0 Oakland. Sims tried his darnest to get in front of the ball and block it. But the ball was way outside and low, bounded off his shoulder. And now with 1 out, a 3-ball, 1 strike count on Rudi. Matty Alou in scoring position at second base. Sherman continues to throw for the Tigers, has been joined by Lerrin LaGrow, a right-hander. 3-1 pitch to Rudi. Way outside, another wild pitch. Alou will go into third base as Rudi goes down to first with a base on balls, and out pops Billy Martin.
Well, these wild pitches have hurt. Now there are runners in first and third with 1 down. That man on third can score on a fly ball. Fred Sherman is coming on as Reggie Jackson, a left-handed batter, is due up next. 2 wild pitches by Chris Zachary. One of them allowed a run to come in. The second one had just moved Alou over to third with 1 down. And with Rudi on first.
The 2 wild pitches by Zachary were not even close. They were both in the dirt and 6 feet wide of the plate. So Fred Sherman on now, the left-hander, to pitch to Jackson, the left-handed hitter.
And while he's in the warm-up, Tony, we'll remind the fans across America that our coverage of the Baseball League Championships continues tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time with the Pirates against the Reds from Cincinnati. The Reds defeated the Pirates today 5-3. They're even at 1 game apiece as they go to Game 3 tomorrow. There will be no American League playoff game tomorrow. It's a traveling date. Game 3 of the American League Championships will pick up next Tuesday from Detroit. Pro football. Cincinnati beat Denver 21-10. The Redskins over the Eagles 14-0. Kansas City defeated Cleveland 31-7. The Giants rolled against New Orleans 45-21. Dallas beat Pittsburgh 17-13. San Diego over Baltimore 23-20. Buffalo 38, New England 14. Green Bay 20, the Bears 17. New York Jets lost to the Miami Dolphins 27-17. Miami wins its 4th in a row. They're the only undefeated team. Detroit 26, Atlanta 23, a final. Cardinals upset the Vikings 19-17. Now in the third quarter, the Rams, who have had the habit of beating the 49ers in recent years, lead the 49ers 17-7, playing in the third period.
We're in the last of the fifth inning here in Oakland. The A's have a 3-0 lead with one out. Alou on third base, Rudi on first, Jackson the hitter, facing Sherman. Sherman has been in 57 ball games with a 7-3-1 loss record, 12 saves. Born in Dayton, Ohio, attended Ohio State. He set a Tiger Club record in 1971 with 69 appearances. Jackson goes after a bad pitch inside and high, fouls it off. Reggie struck out in the first. In the third inning, he grounded very hard to Norm Cash. Been swinging the bat well in the first game yesterday. Very aggressive. One and one. Tigers defensively looking for the double play. One ball, one strike pitch to Jackson. Almost gets hit. 2-1. Sherman with that fastball that tails into the left-handed hitters. Has a good curveball. On deck, Sal Bando for the A's. Two balls, one strike with one out. Jackson fouls it off. Reggie thought he had his pitch. Count goes to 2-2. Alou at third. Rudi at first, being held by Cash. Adair, the first base coach. The Tigers trailing by 3 here in the last of the fifth. Really decked Reggie Jackson. Count will go to 3-2. Sherman, obviously, with this situation, not intentionally throwing at Reggie Jackson. I had to throw a fastball by him with 2 strikes and 2 balls. Dick Williams looking on as his A's are threatening once again to score. Rudi not running, base hit, could be extra bases to left center field. Here comes Alou, Rudi roaring into third base, he's going to score. Here comes Jackson. He held up, going around second. Now the ball gets by Rodriguez. Sherman backing up the play as Jackson comes diving into third base and he makes it. So Jackson will be given a double, 2 RBIs, and an error will be charged to someone. We'll have to find out who, Curt.
Here's a rerun. Now, this is Reggie Jackson. They had him hung up. Nobody was covering second base. They couldn't get a throw there. The throw to third was backed up when it got away by the pitcher, Sherman. And look at Jackson, who's really psyched up for this series, take that swan dive into third and beat it. 2 more runs in, and the A's now have a 5-0 lead, a runner on third, and still just 1 out.
So now the Tigers infield drawn in. The A's very aggressive on the base pass, as just displayed by Reggie Jackson roaring into third. Bando goes after the breaking ball. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. 5-0 A's. Tigers looking for the play at the plate. Sherman pitching from the stretch. Misses outside, 1-1.
4 of these 5 runs have been charged to Woodie Fryman. Rudi's run charged to the reliever, and he scored from first on Jackson's double.
The error on the play on the throw into third base to Rodriguez was given to Dick McAuliffe, the shortstop, who got the relay from his outfielder. So scored Jackson with a double, went to third base on an error on McAuliffe. 1 out. Bando trying for the fly ball. Fouls it off.
Third base seems to be the jinx bag for the Tigers trying to make throws there in this series, Tony.
That call was not too dissimilar from the one yesterday, where Rodriguez was not good in the air. One ball, 2 strikes. Jackson on third. Bando the hitter. Sherman in relief for the Tigers. LaGrow continues to throw a right-hander in the Tiger bullpen. Lerrin LaGrow. Good curveball gets Bando. So Bando strikes out for the second time. Bring up Mike Epstein, who has walked and also struck out once. Two down in the last of the 5th. The A's enjoying a 5-0 lead. Jackson down at third base. With 2 RBIs this inning. Check swing, outside and low, 1 ball. The A's have hit the ball hard this inning. Hendrick let it all off with a pinch hit single. Fly ball to center field. Northrup moving over. He waves Horton off for the 3rd out. But the A's come up with 4 runs on 4 hits. 1 walk, 1 error on the Tigers' part. Score after 5 complete innings of play. 5-1.
Right was Dick Butler, the head of the umpires of the American League. Now we're back to action. And Hiller's pitch is inside to Matty Alou. With Dal Maxville on first base. Nobody out, last of the 7th. The A's leading 5-0. Double play ball to Taylor, to McAuliffe for 1, back to the DP. Second to short to first. Taylor made double play. 2 down, nobody out, and Joe Rudi coming up. Campaneris was ejected for throwing his bat at the pitcher.
The way he walked off the field, escorted by Joe Romo, the trainer, it was doubtful whether he could play anyway. He was limping very badly.
That hit him right on a shin bone or on an ankle bone. That's one of those bruises that can hang on, Tony. You've had some of those bone bruises.
Take away his best asset, the speed of foot.
Well, he was on base 4 times today and scored 2 runs. Line drive to Rodriguez to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Nestor Chylak, dusting off home plate, has ejected Campaneris, ejected the Tiger pitcher, LaGrow, who hit him. Campaneris for throwing the bat at the pitcher, and Billy Martin is still fuming. He's been yelling out at the field, yelling to Mike Epstein, the Oakland first baseman. Jim Northrup takes ball 1. Northrup has an infield hit, and he struck out. We're in the 8th inning now. Blue Moon Odom has been pitching superbly. He's retired the last 10 batters he's faced. 2 balls and no strikes.
I'm certain that Nestor Chylak, as we look at Taylor on deck for the Tigers, Chylak has told both managers, Williams and Martin, let's call a halt right now. We don't want anybody hurt. Any more throwing that looks intentional to me, and we're going to have some more ejections.
The 2-0 delivery. 2-1. Odom has been outstanding on that 2-0 pitch today. It's behind, he comes in. He has him swinging at it, but he's not been too fat with it. The 2-1 pitch. A high fly to right center. Matty Alou. Jackson. Jackson says, I've got it, waves Alou off and takes it. The double play combination again now for the A's is Maxville at short, Kubek at second. Tony Taylor, thrown out by the catchers, grounded out to second. Blue Moon Odom has never pitched a complete game against the Tigers. He's made 13 previous lifetime starts against them. Right now he's in the 8th inning with 1 out and a 5-run lead. A strike in the corner. Rodriguez waiting for his turn. Martin and his pitching coach, Art Fowler, as they study their lineup card. One ball, 1 strike. Two and one. It's the Bando at third. 2 down. They just can't get a solid piece of the ball off Odom today.
Changing speeds brilliantly, both off his sinker ball, his fastball, and also that breaking pitch.
3 little dinky singles. All the Tigers have had. Aurelio Rodriguez grounded to third twice. Odom, with that elbow problem, has pitched only 4 complete games this season in 30 starts. Two down, nobody on. Chuck Seelbach is warming up in the Tiger bullpen. Another easy one-hopper to Bando. That's all. 3 up, 3 down. We're going to the last of the 8th inning. Oakland 5, Detroit nothing. Catalog explaining how to order. Please send a postcard to Baseball Film Division, 1650 Broadway. That's 1650 Broadway, room 402, New York, New York, zip code 119. Catalog of the baseball films available will be sent to you without charge. And please be sure to include your return address.
A little bit of a delay here as Jimmy Northrup, the center fielder for the Tigers, saw this sun peeping out from out behind those clouds, wants his sunglasses. Also, I noticed Curt out in left field that Willie Horton, who was on a rampage during that hit batsman incident. They're starting to pepper him with some things out in left field. Paper cups wadded up. Don't know what else.
And of course, that's remindful of the 34 World Series when Ducky Medwick had to be removed from the 7th game of the World Series between the Tigers and Cardinals by Commissioner Landis, when the Tiger fans showered Medwick with objects when he took his position in the outfield. Reggie Jackson has a strike, as delivered by John Hiller. Jackson is struck out, grounded out. He ripped a double to left in the 5th to knock in 2 runs. Curve for strike 2. Bando on deck, and then Epstein. One and 2. 5 runs, 8 hits for the A's, no runs, 3 hits for the Tigers. He's out. Curved him. 1 down in the last of the 8th inning. Sal Bando hitless in 3 times. The top of the A's batting order has done it today. Campaneris on base 4 times. Alou had a big hit. Rudi on base 3 times. 4, 5, 8 times. And 12 times up, the top 3 men in the order reach base. The rest of the boys haven't done much in this A's batting order. Ball 1 to Sal Bando. Curved him for a strike, 1-1. Tomorrow, Tony and I will be in Cincinnati at 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. A game 3 of the National League playoff. Fly ball to K-line, 2 away, and Mike Epstein's the batter. Epstein has walked, struck out, flied out. Final pro football score, the Rams trounced the 49ers today, 31-7. Right after this game, we're going to have a scoreboard report. Baseball and football scoreboard report. All the pro football action is done. So stay tuned. 2 down, nobody out. A ball to Epstein. No American League playoff game tomorrow. They'll resume their series in Detroit Tuesday afternoon. 1:30 Eastern Time. 2 balls, no strikes. Doing 1. Gene Tennis. Due up behind Epstein. There's a pop. And the catcher, Sims, handles it. 3 up, 3 down. We're going to the top of the 9th inning with a score. Oakland 5, Detroit nothing.
Tonight is what you make it, so make it good. Look for something special on your public TV station.
Masterpiece Theater brings you Vanity Fair, the gripping romance starring Susan Hampshire. See The Family Game, where generations clash, and it's anything but a game.
Look for something special on your public TV station. Tune in tonight, tune in tonight.
The life of one of Craig Institute's own team is dramatically altered when he suffers a heart attack. Watch The Bold Ones, Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on NBC. Gates Brown is going to bat. That's Mike Hegan, who's replaced Mike Epstein at first base for the A's. They now have 3 men in the infield that weren't in there when the game started. Maxwell at short, Kubek at second, and Hegan at first. Bando's the old man at third. Gates Brown came up yesterday with runners on first and third as a pinch hitter, nobody out, and fouled out. Last call for the Tigers. A strike. Blue Moon Odom has allowed just 3 singles today. Northrop in the second, K-Line in the fourth, Cash in the fourth. And the only inning that the Tigers have had more than 1 base runner was the fourth. 1-1. Odom has not walked a batter. He's averaged 4.5 walks a game this year. No walks today. Had his control when he had to have it. Change up. Line drive to Kubek, 1 down. Dick McAuliffe, the batter. Odom pitched 2 shutouts during the season. Ball 1, his fastball, he's throwing just as hard as he did when he started. 27 years old. Pitching one of the best games of his life today. Ground ball down to Mike Hegan at first base. There are 2 down. And Odom now trying to nail down this final out. Our statistician, able partner here, Alan Roth, with us all year in the last 7 years on the Game of the Week. Our production stage manager has been Carl McCarthy. Al Kaline, the last Tiger left. Slow ball is inside, 1-0. Two players ejected from this game, Campaneris and LaGrow. A strike, 1-1. That changeup has been very effective for him today. It's had the Tigers off their timing. They've been topping easy one-hoppers to the infield, especially down to third baseman Bando. They've hit only 3 or 4 balls solid all day. And they've scored only 2 runs here in 19 2/3 innings. Slider outside. Odom was on his way to the dugout. 2-2. Three and 2 to Kaline. He just threw his 100th pitch. That's very good. Anytime you're around 100, 110 pitches in a game, managers like that. 3-2 delivery. Kaline lost it to right field. The game should be over. It is. Blue Moon Odom with a 3-hit shutout. And now the Tigers must go home and win all 3 games to go to the World Series. The A's are in the driver's seat. The final score. The A's 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The Tigers no runs, 3 hits, and 1 error.